Lainey, and welcome back to another episode of Life. Today is episode 25, and so we should just get it started. Today's song of the week is All This Time by Britt Nicole. Christian music artist Britt Nicole's first single from her third studio album, Gold, is her salvation story in song form. All This Time is the story of how I met Jesus. She explained it's a reminder that whatever we face in life, we don't have to face it alone, because Jesus promised to for forsake us, or forsake us, not or forsake. Okay, now let's move on to the verse of the week. Okay, the Word became a man and lived among us. We saw his divine greatness, the greatness that belonged to the only Son of the Father. The Word was full of grace and truth. John 1:14. John 1 through 18 is a poetic introduction of Jesus Christ. Jesus is referred to using the Greek word legos, which means the Word. This passage clearly describes Jesus as the identical to God's and co-creator with God. These verses summarize Jesus' ministry and mission on earth. The passage also explains how John Baptist, a different John from the author of this gospel, was sent ahead of Christ to prepare for his arrival. Now let's move on to the childhood thing of the week. Today we're going to be doing VeggieTales, Josh, and the Big Wall. And I'm going to start doing the VeggieTales episodes that I never seen. I think I've seen this once, but I don't really remember. Okay, let's get started. The opening countertop. Bob finds Bob on his usual spot introducing himself, but then he sees we see Junior Asparagus on Larry's spot introducing himself. Bob then says that he bets all the kids are wondering where on earth Larry is. With Junior looking sheepishly at the camera, Bob then explains to the kids that the reason Larry isn't here today is because he's a little tired after the events of the last show, so they decided to let Larry sleep in. Bob then reassures the kids that Larry will be in pretty soon, but in the meantime, Junior Asparagus has graciously agreed to help Bob out. Junior then breaks the fourth wall by saying hi to all the kids watching them at home. Junior is then informed by Bob that today they have received a handwritten letter from this random kid named by the name Victor Bartholomew, who hails from the city of San Luis in the state of California. Junior then breaks his fourth wall again, saying, "Oh," hi, Victor. Victor explains that he got a bit of a problem on his hands. He says that there was some kid named Louis in his class who decided to hit him the other day in church. Victor just learned that God wants us to be nice to other people, even if they are not so nice towards us. But Victor doesn't feel like doing that because deep down inside he really wants to hit Louis back. Now Victor wants to know from Bob and Junior if he should follow God's way, which is to be nice to him, or should he do it his way? Sorry. Which is to hit him back. Junior sympathizes with Victor because sometimes he wants to do things his way too, and that's the stuff he has learned in church. It doesn't sound like much fun at all. Junior asks Bob if they have any stories about this kind of stuff. Bob then tells Junior that about the Israelites and how even though they sometimes obey God's directions, they didn't always do what he asked. But Bob then tells Junior to start using his imagination, which we then see Bob and Junior being transported from the kitchen to the Holy Land. Okay, I have to go really quick, but I will be back in 1 second for you, but not for me. Okay, I'm back, and now we can continue with the story. Let's see. Bob acts as narrator and provides Junior with some background information. The Israelites have been held as slaves in Egypt, are liberated by Moses, and led to the Promised Land. However, they flee after seeing Goliath and his well, really, seeing Goliath and his family in it, and are banished from the promised land for 40 years. Upon the completion of their exile, Moses has passed away, and Joshua, played here by Larry, has become leader of the Israelites. Joshua leads them back to the promised land, but one thing stands in their way: Jericho. The story is interrupted here by Silly Songs with Larry, a song of Cebu, introduces in a secular image stereotypic multi-million event, finds Larry on the countertop with a slide projector and a captive audience copyrizing the gore of the Gorgs, Junior Asparagus. The song about a boy and three Cebu and a hippo. He frequently goes off track and is interrupted by Archibald Asparagus. When the story resumes, the Israelites are met by the defenders of Jericho, the French peasants, who taunt them from the top of the city Great Wall. Joshua explains that God has given this land to the Israelites, and therefore the defenders will have to step aside. They are met by more insult and jeering. When the slushy falls and hits Jimmy, they fall back and regroup. That night, Joshua meet the commander of the armies of the Lord, who tells him that how the Israelites are to take Jericho. They must march around the city once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they are to march around it 7 times, blow their horns, and all yell at the same time. At this point, the messenger states the walls of Jericho will eventually fall. Naturally, this plan leads to some skepticism. Joshua must deal with the dissent among his people, some of whom want to return to Egypt, some whom want to attack the wall with might. But they agree to try it God's way and proceed to Jericho the next day. The city defenders insult them, all the more turning their taunts into a choreographic musical number, while bombing them constantly with slushies. Now I want a slushie. The end of the day finds the Israelites on the verge of rebellion. At this point, Junior intervenes and convinces them to continue with God's plan laid out. My throat. He explains that God's way doesn't always make sense, but provides examples of how it always works out in the end. The Israelites agree to stick to the plan in spite of renewal counterattack, march around the city for 7 days as specific. On the 7th day, they blow their horns and scream. At first, nothing happens, but then cracks appear and the wall crashes down just as God said it would. And Joshua claims the land for his people. Bob and Junior, I'm so used to Larry. Junior wraps up the show on the countertop by doing the main things he and Larry usually do, standing over QWERTY and trying to talk about what they learned today, only to get interrupted by "What Have We Learned" song. Recapping the lesson from the film and getting a verse from QWERTY. In this case, it is in part of 2 Samuel 22:31. And I am gonna pause this really quick because I'm gonna look for that verse. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So we should let's now read the verse of the verse. Okay. As for God, his way is perfect. 2 Samuel 22:31a. And telling the kid in question how the earth he or she can solve the problem he or she is having. In this case, telling Victor that he should probably be the lamb and obviously do things God's way, and that maybe Louis just needs a buddy and not a punch into the nose. Bob and Junior then tell the kids that they're out of time for today, but always to remember that God made them special and He loves them very much. Then they say their farewells to all the kids watching at home and exit the countertop. But as soon as Bob and Junior leave the countertop, Larry appears in his pajamas and a night hat, yawning for a bit, and asks if it's time for the show. Seconds later, the lights go out and Cordy's screen turns off, leaving only Larry's eyes in the dark. Larry then remarks by saying, "Oh, nuts." Well, that is all for today. I can't believe I had to pause the episode 2 times. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this Bible lesson and hope you learned something from God. And see you next week. Bye. Oh, you're gonna be seeing some words in 3, 2, 1.